my peeps, this is Kat, aka Kakebot, and today I am bringing you yet another little guide to places that have opened recently, so in the past month and a half here in Edinburgh, because I know a lot of you either live here or visit here often, and these places should be on your radar. In this video we are going to be having some sweet treats, we are obviously going to have some coffee, we are going to be brunching, we are going to be having some posh meals, one for lunch, one for dinner, Italian style. And overall, there's going to be 10 of these new places in this video, which I think is my personal record. I am very proud of myself for my ability to eat adventurously. And hopefully you can match it. Okay, let's go explore. So I'm gonna start off with a brand new coffee spot in an area which I feel suffers from quite a lot of coffee needing crowd, central edge of West End. This is meh, and it is in fact everything but meh. Their bakes and lunch sandwiches look amazing, and I was told that this is an active kitchen they're running, meaning the menu can change from day to day depending on seasonality or just what they find fresh, what they find inspiring at that point. So worth popping in to check out the display whenever you're around. They also pride themselves in great matcha lattes, and I was lucky enough to be treated to one of them, can attest that it was smooth and whisked into perfection. Our next stop will be dessert heavy. We got invited to the opening of a new spot for sweet treats and sandwiches, nestled here within Quarter Mile. Honestly, I always loved this little piazzetta as it is just so much more peaceful than most central foodie locations. And when it comes to the desserts format, hint is in the name, yep, they all come in jars. I do appreciate the range, although I will let you know that you might need to order a bunch of them to find your personal fave. I really enjoyed the tiramisu, which was quite intense, rich on that dark coffee flavor, not super duper sweet, which I happen to really enjoy, but I do believe that this one is non-alcoholic, just a warning for tiramisu purists. Perhaps my top fave though was the overnight oat spot, because if you've been around for a while, you know that I live for oats. Oats for every meal, including dessert. The rhubarb dessert was quite custardy, with a bit of tang coming from the fruit, but overall sweet and rich, so that one is my recommendation for all you sweet trifle lovers. Also, I must turn your attention towards the sandwiches, because the focaccia is tasty and baked on the premises daily. Not too heavy on the bread, just right. As an Edinburgh street food fangirl, I have to keep you updated on new vendors within the space. This time it's gonna be Haldi, which, you know, coincidentally only one letter away from my favorite Lord of the Rings character. Finally, a full-time Indian food addition to the roster. I tried a kati roll. Now, if you grew up on the kati rolls from the NYC and London-based kati roll company, this is not quite the same, but it is a nice light lunch anyway. I especially loved the trio of sauces, and happy to say I did not regret ordering the Vindaloo dipping sauce. Spicy, yes, but in a very reasonable way, I think. If you like your lassi, you will need to order one while checking out Haldi. It's smooth, very cooling, but also kinda fruitily sharp and spiced all at the same time. I'm quite a cardamom enjoyer, so the extra spices mixed into my drink were a nice surprise. Back in my neighborhood, around Dalry Road, we now have a brand new roastery and coffee shop called simply Roasters. I love that there's finally a cafe large enough for me not to feel bad for blocking a table with my sketchbooks, and the overall vibe also feels great for getting a bit of work done without having to give in to the big black sheep that's lurking a block away. We tried some of their lunch options. My soup was lovely, and Simon's sandwich really packed a flavor punch, which is why I ended up stealing about a third of it. Singh Street in Brunsfield is an exceptionally colourful brunch and dinner haunt, with quite an exciting and expansive menu and a lot of space up and downstairs, so I imagine this could be a great place to bring a larger group. I really enjoy all the brunchy staples having a little bit of extra kick coming from the Indian spices, and also, very importantly, the chai was wonderful, strong and very flavorful. Like, if you don't have any spice tolerance, you will find it hot. it's kind of hard to pick what my actual personal fave dish was here. I think the joy of brunching is in having a little bit of everything, right? So until the end of December, you have a chance to try some of Aberdeen's iconic cinnamon rolls from a bun and coffee place called Shot and Roll. Up in Aberdeen, they have a proper brick and mortar shop, so if you accidentally become addicted, you know what to do. Now, as you noticed, these come in all sorts of delicious sounding flavors, and I just felt compelled to order them all for research, right? My fave was probably the tiramisu one, although I will say, for my palate, these are really quite sweet. I do like how soft and fluffy they are though, especially after a little whirl around the microwave.
So as you probably noticed, Shot and Roll does not have a dedicated sit-down space. So for me and how I like to shoot things, that was a bit of a challenge, and I ended up deciding to come home and set up this like impromptu fake coffee shop almost in my camera room. Thankfully, I am currently taking a Skillshare class on how to do just that and all the other elements of food photography. I'm sure you know Skillshare has so many great classes on, creative stuff, design, illustration, photography, even, skills you need to have a small business. The one I am currently taking is called Product and Food Photography by Tabitha Park, and it is just so in-depth. It's actually quite long. There's a lot that is being discussed in it. I am really enjoying taking this class and learning from it, and hopefully by the end of it, I'm gonna be able to set up something even better than this. Now, I doubt any of you haven't heard of Skillshare, but just in case, this is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance life, productivity, all of these led by teachers with impressive first-hand experience. So whether you want to up your game in your career, hobby, or your side hustle, you will find the class you need on Skillshare. You can now also take part in Skillshare's learning paths, which are curated sequential class collections to master a specific skill. Skillshare has also recently introduced some exciting improvements to help you find your perfect class, like smarter class categories, 3 new class topics like creative careers, creative inspiration, and AI and innovation, and the ability to find classes by software and material. So if you're up for joining me in this effort to make your spare room into a magical lair of 1000 hobbies and actually also be good at those hobbies, then why don't you head on over to Skillshare, because I have a special link for you. If you join Skillshare through my link down in the description, then you are actually getting 1 month of Skillshare for free. Win!
Thank you, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. Close to Haymarket station, you can now find a new bar, which, despite sounding like more of a spot for people looking for drinks, is actually also an amazing find when it comes to food. We had some fantastic, comforting meals, clearly made with a lot of care here, and I loved the chill, friendly atmosphere. A bit dark, sure, but good when you want to eat your porchetta stew without being perceived. Just my style. Nadir has exactly the sort of air of fanciness that you would expect from a Marchmont establishment. Relaxed, but not in a jeans and hoodie way. I'd say this is a place you go to explore flavors you maybe haven't tried before. During this season, they seem to be really into woodruff, which I actually already know from German and Japanese sweets mostly, but it was really interesting trying it in Scottish context. You can come here for a lunch set menu, which is £30 when doing the 3-course option, which I would recommend as the plates are dainty, except for the dessert, which I am not afraid to admit was my favorite part of the meal. Dark chocolate with pine and olive oil with some tart forest fruit granita. It just hit all the spots for me. I have been waiting for a sit-down Ethiopian in Edinburgh for so long. Since my friend Petra first introduced me to this cuisine, it has become a firm favorite for me, so I knew I'd need to check out Muna's ASAP. Ethiopian is perfect for sharing. As you can see, it's kind of played in this, way where sharing simply cannot be avoided. We got 5 types of stew laid over this slightly chewy, slightly sour injera bread. Absolutely perfect for mopping up all these flavors. There are plenty of both veggie and meaty options, and I am so glad to say that this has fulfilled my deepest flavor hopes. Also, Muna herself is adorable. Okay, let's end with a perfect date night. A small, stylish but casual Italian food bar right between Newtown and Stockbridge called Little Capo. The cocktails here are really fun and the food is stunning. Really good Italian cooking with a little bit of extra. My ragu came with a bit of celeriac puree, which I thought worked beautifully. Simon's risotto was one of the savoriest, most satisfying things I've had in some time. And of course, the tiramisu. This time, it is boozy. We had it with a glass of hand-picked Marsala wine. Honestly, I would come back even just for this perfect pairing.
So that was a lot of fun. As always, I am so excited to hear down in the comment section which one of these places you would go to first, because honestly you should go to all of them, but which one would be your priority? My own, like if I had to go to one of these places tomorrow night, I would probably go to either Muna's, because that was such a pleasant surprise. I'm always so worried that I'm very excited for Ethiopian food and I'm always worried that it's gonna let me down. Not that it happens often, but you know, I've had some average Ethiopian food before, but Muna's is not that. Muna's is beyond average. It's amazing. So if you can go to Muna's, do it tomorrow, day after. This weekend, do it. Anywho, I think that the other favorite on this list of 10 new places would be Little Capo. Now, as much as making these videos puts the dream into this dream job, they are very expensive to make. So if you do want to support me on Patreon, you will get an extra video every month, usually something kind of like behind the scenes or something that takes you to some of my favorite places around Edinburgh. Sometimes it's a travel vlog from beyond the UK. It's a bit of a mishmash of everything. And if you don't want to pay extra money to see more of this face, you can also visit me on Instagram, GakiBot, for my illustrations and kind of weird video game fan art lately. I do not have a filter on there. GakiBlog for the more filtered content, for the food reviews and nice aesthetic images of my travels and my life here in Scotland. So, make your pick or both. You wild person, you. Okay, that is truly it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this little tour of foodie places and I shall see you soon. Bye.